Okay, let's talk about the plurals. The plurals is most frequent words that to express the plural is men, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, men, but men is not the counterpart, exactly the counterpart of s, of a noun in English, because it's not generally marked by for number. Plural forms are mostly the same as singular. There's no form change, the formal change, okay, of the nouns, okay, of the nouns itself. Men sometimes can be regarded as a plural marker, but with limited usage. Only used for person, for human being, okay? Sometimes for use for personal pronouns as a 我们、你们、他们, okay? Sometimes used to represent human, for example, 同学们、朋友们, okay? But there's a restriction of the usage in this way. It never used when the noun has indefinite reference. 他们是我的朋友, okay, they are my friends in English, but 朋友 is not necessary to use 们 here. 我带来3个朋友, we know that there are 3 altogether, but in this case, it's not necessary to use 们 here. 我带来3个朋友们, no. Okay, other plural markers include 些 and 己. So sometimes it can be used by the determiners, with the determiners, including 这那. Okay, 这那 may be optionally pluralized by 些. 这些都是我的. 这些都是我的, okay, is a plural form, many things, not one, not only one, okay. But you can also say 这都是我的. 这都是我的 means the same as 这些都是我的. No difference grammatically, okay. And 些 can be used without classifier. And for example, 我买了一些苹果. 我买了一些苹果. 一些 here means many, a lot of. It's not necessary for you to use 个 additionally. And 几, how many? Okay, takes a classifier. 你买了几个苹果? Here, you need to use 个. You can say 你买了几苹果? No. Okay, we will talk about the reduplication several times here. Here I mentioned those phenomena related to nouns and classifiers of their reduplication. A syllable or words is repeated to reproduce a modified meaning, a little bit change, variance of the meaning. For example, when you mention the family relations, sometimes they usually have the form of, especially the very close ones, okay, have the form of reduplication. Mama, ma, okay. Monosyllabic words, ma, can be acceptable, right? But also used frequently. And mama also. And 姑姑, 哥哥, 妹妹, okay? Still remember, in such structure, the second syllable usually can be unstressed for their pronunciation. Mama, okay, 姑姑, okay, the second is an unstressed syllable. And some single syllable words and morphemes are sometimes repeated. 常常 means often, 常, 星星, 星, there means the same. And we also have some childreness expression, like when we talk about foods for a child, for a baby, with a baby, 包包, 脚脚, foods, okay, 猫猫, 哇哇, to repeat the syllable in order to be sound nice or lovely, okay? And classifiers can reproduce a phrase meaning all if they are reduplicated. 一座座山, all, 一座座山, all the mountains. And okay, so monosyllabic adjectives can also be reduplicated and to add emphasis. For example, 红 adjective 红 reduplicated into 红红红红 okay, with a particle word 的 红红 that means so red. In the structure of ABB reduplication, like adjectives 香喷喷 or 亮晶晶, ABB is the framework of such structures. And there are some four syllabic adjectives made by disyllabic, by reduplicate each syllable. The result would be AABB or ABAB. AABB most frequently appears in the adverbial modifier. For example, 高兴 change into 高高兴兴 高高兴兴的 okay, to modify a predicate 高高兴兴的去上学 高高兴兴的出发 okay, there's predicate behind and used as an adverbial modifier, while ABAB structure mostly used as an attribute modifier, attribute to modify a noun phrase, noun or noun phrase. For example, 冰凉 okay, 冰凉冰凉的 鲜红鲜红的 okay, something like this, right? Okay, talk about pronouns. Pronouns are the common elements of all the language of a human being, but you can compare pronouns in Chinese and English. For example, personal pronouns include 我,你,他. Okay, there is different version of 他 in written form, at least 3. Actually, there are many more, but they sound the same. Okay, 他 sounds the same, pronounced the same. So that means in oral Chinese, there's no difference among these 他. Okay, there's no personal difference among them. This is something created recently, in recent history, in light of the Western language. So originally, 我,你,他, they are basic personal pronouns of Chinese. And 他 can refer to he or she or animal or inanimate objects. Plural forms of them are the results of adding 们 behind. 我们,你们,他们. But without the case, there's no difference of case. No difference of I or me or we or us, or 我 or 我们 in Chinese. But it is a formal polite word for a singular you, which is a 您. Sometimes 您们 is also used, but it's less commonly used. 我们,咱们 can sometimes means the same, but sometimes not. It is inclusive word for we or us. Okay, so let's distinguish those 3 examples. 我们跟你们不一样. What's the meaning of 我们跟你们不一样? If I'm a speaker, you are a listener, I'll say 我们跟你们不一样. Okay, here 我们 does not include you, right? 我们跟他们不一样. If I say to you 我们跟他们不一样, probably here 我们 could include you. 咱们跟他们不一样. Okay, in most cases it must include you. Okay, so the inclusion of 我们 it depends. Okay, depends on situations. So other pronouns include the demonstrative pronouns 这 or 那, in colloquial pronunciation j and 内. Okay, and optional pluralized by addition of 些, 这些, 那些. And reflexive pronoun refers to oneself, 自己. Okay, and can stand alone as an object or a possessive, or may follow personal pronoun for emphasize. You can use both 自己和 and pronoun. 自己的是我自己做，自己的是自己做，我自己做，我自己 pronoun and reflexive pronoun. You can use them both to emphasize. Okay, about negation. The typical expression of negation is 不 usually placed before a verb, a preposition of an adverb. For example, 我不吃辣. Okay, to negate 吃辣, this word. Okay, 我不吃辣. The verb 有 is negate using 没 or 没有, not have. Okay, for 有没有, okay, you cannot say 不有, right? 没有. For negation of a verb intended to denote a complete event, 没 or 没有 is used instead of a 不, and the aspect of marker 了 is often omitted. You can choose not to use 了 here. For example, 我不吃晚饭了. 我不吃晚饭了 is the to deny 吃晚饭. If you want to negate the whole sentence, you say 他没有吃晚饭. 他没有吃晚饭. Here, you don't say 了. Okay, you omit the 了. Even all of these two, 他不吃晚饭了 and 他没有吃晚饭, all of these two describe something happened before, right? But 他没有吃晚饭, you don't use 了 here. 没 or 没有 is used to negate verbs that take the aspect marker 过. If you want to use the aspect marker, you need to use 过. 他没吃过晚饭 means he's never had dinner. Okay, besides 有 不 没, there are other negators, including, for example, 别. The negator 别 precedes a verb in negative commands and negative requests. For example, 别去了, to propose a requirement, don't go. Okay, the negator 未 means not yet. For example, 未成年人未经许可, or other items including 无勿免非, they mean similarly, but the usage of them are slightly different. A double negation makes a positive. For example, 我不是不喜欢他 means 我喜欢他. Okay, it's not that I don't like her. It means I like her. So, talked about the questions. In WH questions in Chinese, the question word is not fronted. We know in English, the WH questions always put the WH word in front. But in Chinese, it's in the normal sequence as a statement. For example, 你说这件事啊, or if I want to ask this, what are you talking about? 我问你说什么? What do you say? 你说什么? 什么 here, you are not supposed to put it ahead. No necessary. 你说什么? The same sequence. 你说这个, 你说那个, 你说什么? The same sequence. And other integrated words include 谁 means who, 啥 什么 means 什么, okay? And 哪儿哪里什么时候 means 何时哪 or 哪些为什么干嘛 okay, 怎样如何 They can be linked or can be matched with their counterpart in English. They probably, in most cases, they means the same, means or similar, okay? But the difference is the arrangement of the sequence in a sentence. And for yes/no questions, it used a sentence final particle ma to propose a question, with words ordered the same as in a statement. Remember, the statement, the order in a sentence is of a question in Chinese is as the same as the statement. This is the different part between English and Chinese. For example, 你吃辣吗? 你吃辣吗? It's not necessary to put anything ahead, but you are supposed to add a particle, a sentence final particle ma here, to express the question mood. And an alternative is the a not a construction, 吃不吃? A not a, 吃不吃? To raise a question. With two-syllable verbs, sometimes only the first syllable is repeated. For example, 喜欢不喜欢? You can say that, 喜欢不喜欢? But sometimes you can also say 喜不喜欢? 中不中意 in Cantonese. Okay. Yeah. How to answer those yes/no questions? Normally, you can use the 对 or 是的 comparable with a yes, or 不 with a no. But in practice, sometimes you only repeat the word. More common, repeat the word or verb phrase, or even the whole sentence, the entire sentence, if applicable, because it sounds more polite. It sounds more polite. For example, in English, the conversation can happen in this way. Do you love me? Answer, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, but yes, I do is similar to 对 or yes or 是的. Okay, but in Chinese sometimes we say 你爱我吗? The answer should be 爱 or 当然 or sometimes maybe 不爱. Okay, but it's not proper, not appropriate to say 对, 是的. 你爱我吗? 对. 你爱我吗? 是的. Sounds strange. Okay, sounds strange. Okay. So let's talk about imperatives to ask somebody to do something. For example, especially for the second person imperative sentence, the subject you is often omitted. You don't need to mention you. Sometimes you use 您, okay? 你 is implied. So if you want to use the person, you use 您做 or 做, okay? Shows the way. That's enough. 您做 okay? And the order may be softened to use, for example, 请 or 吧. You can say 请坐 or 您请坐 or 咱们出发吧. Okay? The orders might be sounds more polite if you use 吧 or 请. This is something pragmatics. Okay, and let's talk about adjectives. First, we're going to talk about attributive adjectives. That means adjective can be used attributively before a noun to modify a noun. Used before a noun, attributive adjectives. Sometimes in Chinese, we refer to those categories as a 区别词 to distinguish different categories. The relative marker 的 may be added after the adjective. This is optional. For example, we can say 黑马. 黑马 means the black horse, means something ambitious, but different from others' expectation, right? But 黑的马 here means literally 黑色的马, black horse, right? So 的 here can be optional, but sometimes they make difference. And multiple adjectives, including the quality, the size, shape, color, and others. So you need to pay attention to the sequence. The sequence of them are sometimes required. That means if you are non-Chinese native speaker, you need to pay more attention of the sequence. The sequence are not random. So not necessary with the addition of 的 when each adjective is made into a separate phrase. That means you're not supposed to use many 的 in this whole phrase. For example, 纯棉的, 大的, 长的, 红裙子, those following 的 can be omitted, must be omitted even. You need to say 纯棉的大长红裙子. Okay? Okay, besides, we have also predicative adjectives. They are used predicatively. That means more like verbs. It's not like in English, if you use adjective to follow a noun, you need to a couple of words to link them. No, it is not necessary in Chinese. But you need to consider other aspects. For example, the prosodic consideration. For example, in English, you say he is hardworking or he's hardworking. In Chinese, it is not necessary to say a counterpart of is here, but you directly say 他勤奋. 他勤奋 means he's hardworking. Okay, there's no counterpart of is here in Chinese sentence. But 他勤奋 sounds strange. 他勤奋 sounds strange because primarily two-syllable adjective, if you use the barely following the noun, it sounds strange. You're supposed to add something more. So this is the reason why we usually say 他勤奋好学, or 他很勤奋. You can say 他很勤奋, even though he's not as so much hardworking as 很, but you can say that. You can say 他很勤奋 simply mean he's hardworking. It's not necessary, how much hardworking he is here, but it's only a common expression. Or you can say 他不勤奋 or 他不太勤奋. They are all acceptable, but 他勤奋 itself sounds strange in Chinese.